Shalomi homies, what is going on with everybody out there? I hope you are well. I hope you guys are blessed in this week, and I hope you guys are having a good week. Hope you guys are reading your scriptures. I hope you guys are writing these laws, statutes, and commands upon your heart, upon your minds, upon your souls, and you're impressing them upon the lives and the world of your children. And it is with that I can't thank you guys enough for hanging out, for being part of this reading. This is one of these readings that every single time we read, I get to go through a little bit of history myself. I get to do a little bit of remember this and remember that, and then we get to touch on new stuff. And we are reading the first book of Esdras, and it is an incredible book, and it gives us a tremendous amount of history, and it gives us a tremendous amount of facts that we have. A lot of us, since this book, the first Esdras, is been ripped out of our scriptures, and it was used to be a part of our regular scriptures. And then you had places like the Catholic Church and some of the Protestants. Everybody's ripping books out of the scriptures. And when you see people that are, I'm anti-Apocrypha, I don't like the book of Enoch, I don't like these other books, you got to wonder why. And when you look at a lot of what the people out there believe, if it doesn't match up with the doctrine that they think is the right doctrine, they want to toss it out. They want to toss that baby out with that bathwater instead of grabbing that baby and then tossing that dirty water out. And the one thing I hope that we can all agree upon is that when you have a foundational basis of the Torah, and the Torah is Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, Deuteronomy, when you have that foundational basis, then the rest of scriptures, it's not such a big deal. Because if you run into a particular detail, or you have several different accounts of the same story and it's different details, a lot of people do that. And a lot of people don't realize that even in the Besorah, Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, there's different accounts of how things happen. There's different accounts of the individuals that were on the stakes next to our Messiah. And so we can't just toss this stuff out. But how do we know what should be tossed out and what should not be tossed out? Well, that's a great question, right? And that's the reason that we have the Torah written on our hearts, minds, and souls. We know things that we should be doing, like be fruitful, multiply, replenish the earth, subdue it, build our families, master sin. Every clean moving thing is food for us, right? Those are all things that when we know the laws of our Creator and we read these extracurricular books, when something says, okay, all food has been made clean, eat pig, right? You would know this is blasphemy. You would know it goes against the ways of our Creator. And that's the thing about Yah Scriptures and the Apocrypha, is there is not a single book inside of this Apocrypha that ever has you going against the commands of our Creator. It just doesn't happen. That is one of the greatest things why the Yah Scriptures is the greatest English translation you will ever run across. And it is a beautiful, beautiful book. Now, we are hoping that we are going to get another order of these big blue books in, but everything with this world is according to our Creator. It is according to His plan, and He doesn't allow things to go through that are not part of His work. And when you understand that our Creator has the power of knowing the future because He understands the past, and He understands His creatures, He understands the people that we are, that He made. He understands our hearts, and He understands our minds, and He knows where our soul is going to be destined to. And when scriptures say that our Creator knew us before the foundations of the earth, that He knew us, I believe that before we were ever tossed into our mother's womb, I believe He had us sit down, and we saw our Creator. We saw Him. He saw us. He knew who was going to be His people, and He also knew who wasn't going to be His people. And scriptures is very clear when it says most people don't make the kingdom. And when you look at that and you look at this religious system that we have, where everybody has found a religion and everybody has found the way to salvation, and everybody goes either to a little man in a room and gets sprinkled with some water and has some rosary beads and prays to Mary, and all of these satanic things that are not in scriptures. This is why most people don't make the kingdom. The kingdom is about a people who are willing to be obedient and lawful to our Creator. Those who are willing to say, hey, you know what? These laws are pretty good. These ways that our Creator wants us to walk, boy howdy, if this world was all under the governance of the Torah, which it should be, but it's not, then this would be an amazing walk. It would be an amazing place. You wouldn't have to wonder if you're going to get ripped off. You're not going to wonder what's happening here and there, because if everybody understood the responsibilities that we have as the creations of the Creator, that we need to walk in His ways and His good ways, it would be a better world. But because we don't, we live in a world where most people are going to be denied the kingdom. As Messiah Yahushua says, he says, depart from me, you who work lawlessness. Working lawlessness means that you are against the laws of our Creator. And when you have said that the laws of our Creator have been nailed to the trees, that they don't matter to us anymore, and there's something that it's for the old people, it's stories up to 10 years old and only history after that. But when you look at it from a different lens, and you look at it through the eyes of a person, a citizen of the kingdom to come, they make every bit of sense. There's not a single law, statutes, and command that I can tell you, or I can find, or I have ever found in this existence of literally writing through this entire Bible, typing every single character, every single text, reading it over and over and over and over to produce you guys this Yah Scriptures. I've never found anything this funky. I've never found anything that I haven't been able to fully figure out. There's some things that, because we are not back in the days, right? We don't know certain things. There's some stuff that we are going to have to speculate on. But it's very clear that when he tells us to replenish the earth and be fruitful and master sin and take care of our families, that is a important thing for our Creator. And so it is with that, guys, let us get into our amazing reading today. And we are reading out the Yah Scriptures. You guys can go to yahscriptures.com. It is a free download. We have had, I don't know how many tens of thousands of downloads that we have had of the free versions. They're all out there. This big blue book is 100% free of charge. It's out there. You don't even have to pay for it. You can download it to any of your devices, Apple devices, Android devices, Microsoft devices. It doesn't matter. They all run on every platform. So you guys can read the scriptures. And I would encourage, if you guys have not read the Torah at least 5 times slowly, that you do this, that you read through it. When you get to the end, when Moshe is dying and setting up his people, start again. Go back into Genesis. And then you will have this foundational standpoint of life that nobody will be able to deceive you. Nobody will be able to tell you that Peter had some dream and we can go eat unclean food. You can eat lobster, right? Those are janitors. Those are nasty things that we should not be eating. So, guys, this is Yah Scriptures. Before we get into this, let us get into our very first piece of this. And I'm going to give you guys a recap of First Esdras right here. So First Esdras, again, is in Yah Scriptures. It is in this beautiful app that we have right here. And hopefully in the next 10 to 15 days, it will be on the App Store. And what you see in this is the amazing scriptures. And these are all the amazing laws of our Creator that are just super spectacular, super dino whopping good. Amazing. Just amazing things. And when we see things like this, that we need to guard the covenant, laws, statutes, and commandments. So that's very important. So here we are with this. Let us get into this book right here, which is in the Apocrypha. And this is all the same order that you have the big blue book right here. Right here is First Esdras. Now, before we get into this, let me quickly go over to this, and we will go right here. And this is you guys can download this. I had somebody ask if they could pay for this. There's nothing in the digital form that any of you guys can pay for. It just does not exist. We don't. Everything is meant to be free. The word of our Creator is meant to be free. It's all supposed to be, we're supposed to be fishing for men. And I don't know how we fish for men when we are robbing all the people we're supposed to be fishing for. And so this is on Yahuwah and the Torah.com, YHWHANDTHETORAH.net. I'm sorry if that was super fast. You can probably go back slow and grab it. It's under downloads. This is the King's chart. This is what this is called. So you guys can grab this. And these are from the days of Saul, David, and Shalomah. And it takes us all the way to captivity. Now, this is the northern 10 tribes that were taken into captivity. Now, these northern 10 tribes are more than likely us. We are the people of the kingdom. We are those who have been dispersed across the plains. We are the ones who, at the end times, discover this Torah, and we fall in love with this Torah, and we fall in love with the ways of our Creator. So these 10 tribes never came back from captivity. Now, these guys, the southern kingdom, was basically Judah and Benjamin and some of the Levites. And they were taken into captivity in 586. And so we are going to start from right here, and I'm going to do a little recap here. And so first Esdras 1, it begins with the account of Yoshiyahu, and those of you who know him as Josiah, the king of Yahudah, Judah, who kept the Passover, Pesach, to Yahuwah in Jerusalem. And Jerusalem is actually Jerusalem for those who have never heard of the pronunciations like this. And it was celebrated with a great devotion according to the written instructions of Moshe. Yoshiyahu restored proper worship and destroyed idolatry, but he was killed in battle at Megiddo by Pharaoh Necho of Mitzrayim, of Egypt. After his death, Yehoiaz was made king, but reigned only 3 months before being taken captive to Mitzrayim by Pharaoh Necho. Then he was placed by Yehoiakim. And for those who, looking for the other translations, it's Jehoiakim. It's on the throne. And the second chapter of First Esdras, Nebuchadnezzar took many captives from Yahudah, including the vessels of the house of Yahuwah, and brought them to his own temple in Babel. After his death, Koresh, the king of Persia, took control of Babel. Yahuwah stirred up the spirit of Koresh to declare that the house of Yahuwah in Jerusalem should be built. He commanded the exiles of Yahudah to return and rebuild the temple. And the heads of the families of Yahudah and Benjamin, along with the priests and Levites, they rose up to go to Jerusalem to begin the work. In the third chapter of First Esdras, there was a competition of wisdom. There were three, if you guys remember this, there were 3 guys. This is Ezra 3 and 4. There were 3 guys, and they decided they were going to see who was the wisest in the eyes of the king. And that was an incredible story that we went through and we read. And the reward for being the wisest was that one of these guys was able to have this king do what he said he was going to do, which was to restore this temple. And so into First Esdras 5, which we all read last time for those who are in this series with me, it was a lot of names, it was a lot of accounts, a lot of history, and it was the returning of the exiles. They gathered to begin construction, they laid the foundations of the temple, and they rebuilt the altar. And the started offering sacrifices according to the Torah of Moshe. And the priests, the Kohanim, and the Levites were appointed to oversee the work, and people rejoiced as the foundations were laid. However, the adversaries of Yahudah and Benjamin opposed the work, attempting to discourage the builders and frustrate their plans by appealing to the king of Paras. Now here we are into this incredible book. We are into chapter 6, and this isn't too bad. So let us get into this one right here. Okay, now in the second year of the reign of Darius, Kagiah and Zechariah, the son of Edo, and Neviim, Nava to the Yahudim in Yahudah and Jerusalem in the name of Yahuwah, Elohim of Yisrael, which was upon them. So we had Kagiah and Zechariah, and they were prophesying, right? They were nabbing. They're prophesying to the Yahudim in the name of Yahuwah. Then Zerubbabel, the son of Shealtiel, stood up, and Yeshua, the son of Yadazak, and began to build the house of Yahuwah at Jerusalem, assisted by the Neviim of Yahuwah who were with them. At the same time, Tattenai, the governor of Syria, came to them in Phoenicia with Shethar-Bozenai and his companions and said to them, "By whose decree do you build this house and this roof, and doing all these other matters? And who are the workmen that perform these?" I'm sure I got the accent completely wrong. Nevertheless, the elders of the Yahudim obtained favor because Yahuwah had overseen the captivity. And they were not hindered from building until such a time as word was given to Darius concerning them, and an answer received. The copy of the letters which Tattenai, governor of Syria and Phoenicia, and Shethar-Bozenai, and their companions, rulers in Syria and Phoenicia, wrote and sent to Darius. To sovereign Darius, greetings. Let all matters be known to our master the sovereign, that having come into the land of Yehuda, and entered into the city of Jerusalem, we found in the city of Jerusalem the elders of the Yehudim, who were of the captivity, building a great and new house to Yahuwah, of hewn and costly stones, and the timber already laid upon the walls. And those works are done with great speed, and the work is prospering in their hands and being done with all esteem and diligence. Then we asked these elders, saying, by whose command are you building this house and laying the foundations of these works? Therefore, with the purpose that we might make known to you in writing, we demanded of those who were the chief workers, and we required from them the names of their heads in writing. So they gave us an answer. We are the servants of Yahuwah who made the Shamayim and earth. As for this house, it was built many years ago by a great and strong sovereign of Israel, and was finished. But when our fathers provoked Elohim to wrath and sinned against Yahuwah of Israel, who is in the Shamayim, he gave them over to the power of Nebuchadnezzar, sovereign of Babel, of the Kasdites, who pulled down the house and burned it and carried away the people to Babel. Okay, there's a lot to take into this, right? This is the same opportunity that all of us have, in a way, in a shape, and in a form. All of us, the captives, the 10 tribes of Israel, are in a foreign land. We all grew up as Gentiles. We all grew up as heathens. We all grew up celebrating pagan holy days, holidays. We didn't know. Our parents didn't tell us this. They told us that only a 1/8 of the scriptures was even used, and our new God was named Paul. And when you are always answering your questions with Paul said versus what did Yahuwah say, then we've obviously lost track and we have lost our way forward. But as we find our way forward and we start understanding that we are in captivity, we are all people that are spread throughout, wherever you were born at, we are all under the governments of the various worlds. I know a tremendous amount of people from the United States of America, and the United States of America has always been involved in a tremendous amount of crimes of humanity, wars, CIA operations, drugs, all of these horrible, horrible things that the end users always get arrested for is what the powers that be are always just doing willy-nilly, and they never get prosecuted, right? They never get prosecuted. But it's not the people of the United States of America. We were overtaken years and years ago. They stole our gold standard. They stole our gold. They printed off fiat currency. They gave us a social security number and a birth certificate, and they labeled us and branded us like cattle, right? You can't do anything without a birth certificate, social security number, all of these things. We're all slaves. We are all slaves in the lands that we are at. But when we realize that the Torah is for all men, women, children, and all generations, things become very, very clear that, hey, even though we are captives, we can now celebrate the ways of our real government. And our real government is not these lands that we are in. Yes, we must abide by the laws or we will end up under the hand of the oppressed government, and we will be oppressed very much. But these same things, when it says in 15 that our fathers provoked Elohim to wrath and sinned against Yahuwah of Yisrael, who is in the heavens, right? He's in Shemaim. This is what we do when we nail the laws of our Creator to the cross. We are provoking our Elohim. When we drink blood and eat the fat and we abuse our family and abuse our neighbors and we rip people off, that is not what our Creator wants us to do. It's very, very clear that we need to get on track with what our Creator wants us to do, or else we'll never come out of captivity, right? When the second Exodus is there, when they call the roll, when the roll is called, and we're living like Gentiles, living like heathens, celebrating the pagan holy holidays, we're not going to make the cut. And making the cut is everything that matters, because I don't want to be stuck with the rest of this riffraff. I don't want to be stuck with the rest of these people that don't give a dang about our Creator, because I love our Creator. I love His ways. I love His statutes. I love His commandments. And I love His Son. I love everything about him, and what he says it makes a lot of sense. It's not like these Satanists and the cult of religion that you are in, because these things in religion make no sense, right? We're told not to have idols. Look at the Catholic Church. The entire Catholic Church is completely plagued with idols. There's idols everywhere. They have and the thing is, they're all anti-Christ. They're all anti-Yahuwah, because people are praying to Mary. People are asking Mary for forgiveness, for intercession, and all of this stuff. And when you look in scriptures, there's no such thing. The entire riffraff rigmarole of the scam religious system is a scam. And it's hard to figure this out when we have been raised in captivity and this is all we know. But if you have eyes to see and ears to hear, then you need to be on your knees thanking our Creator that he didn't leave you behind, because he gave you the opportunity, and he gives everybody the opportunity. But the world is so loud. TV is so loud, movies are so loud, music is so loud, that it takes away all of our peace and quiet that we need to have to establish this peaceful reading time, understanding, seeking our Creator, going in these dark places, these closets, and praying and seeking our Creator where he's able to be found. And this is amazing, right? It's not like we were just created, but we were created in such a fashion, and then we were given a collect call. We can make collect calls to our Creator at any point, and we can talk to him. And it starts with our Father who art in heaven. Hallowed be thy name. If that is the only way you know how to pray, that is the beginning of it. And seek him. Try to keep your attention with your prayers, that your mind doesn't drift, that you are focused on establishing this. And I know these prayers are being heard. We can, Boss Clan is examples of prayers being heard all over. Let's continue on. 17. But in the first year, the sovereign Koresh reigned over the land of Babel. Koresh the sovereign wrote to build up this house. And the Kodesh vessels of gold and silver that Nebuchadnezzar had carried out of the house of Jerusalem, and had put them in his own temple, these Koresh the sovereign brought out again from the temple of Babel, at Babel. And they were delivered to Zerubbabel and to Sheshbazzar the ruler, with orders that he should take these same vessels and put them in the Heikel, the temple, at Jerusalem, and that the Heikel of Yahuwah should be built in his place. Then the same Sheshbazzar, I think I slaughtered that, having come here, laid the foundations of the house of Yahuwah at Jerusalem, and from that time to this is still under construction. It is not yet fully complete. Now therefore, if it seems good to the sovereign, let a search be made among the records of sovereign Koresh. And if it is found that the building of house of Yahuwah at Jerusalem has been done with the consent of sovereign Koresh, and if our master the sovereign approves, let him inform us of this. Then sovereign Darius commanded to search among the records at Babel, and so at Achametha, the palace, which is in the land of Medai, there was found a scroll in which these matters were recorded. In the first year of the reign of Koresh, sovereign Koresh ordered that the house of Yahuwah at Jerusalem should be built again, where they should offer with continual fire, the height of which shall be 60 amma, and the width 60 amma, with 3 rows of hewn stone, and 1 row of new wood from the land, and the expanses of it be given out of the house of sovereign Koresh. And that the Kodesh vessels, the holy vessels, of the house of Yahuwah, both of gold and silver, that Nebuchadnezzar took out of the house at Jerusalem, and brought to Babel, should be restored to the house at Jerusalem, and be put in the place where they were before. And he also commanded that Tattenai, the governor of Syria and Phoenicia, and Shethar-Bolzenai, and their companions, and those who were appointed rulers of Syria and Phoenicia, should bear in mind not to strive with the place, but allow Zerubbabel, the servant of Yahuwah and governor of Yahudah, and the elders of the Yahudim to build the house of Yahuwah in that place. I have also commanded it built up, complete again, and that they look diligently to help those who are of the captivity of the Yahudim, till the house of Yahuwah is finished. And out of the tribute of Kole, Syria, and Phoenicia, portion diligently to be given to these men for the slaughterings of Yahuwah. That is, to Zerubbabel, the governor, for bulls and rams and lambs, and also corn, salt, wine, and oil, and continually every year without further question what is required by the Kohanim, who are in the Jerusalem, to be used daily, that offerings may be made to the Most High Elohim, for the sovereign and for his children, and that they may pray for their lives. And he commanded that whoever would transgress, or even diminish any spoken word or written before, a timber should be taken out of his own house, and he be hanged upon it. and all his goods seized for the sovereign. Therefore may Yahuwah, whose name is called upon there, utterly destroy every sovereign and nation that stretches out his hand to hinder or damage the house of Yahuwah in Jerusalem. I, Darius, the sovereign, have ordained that it be done according to these words with diligence. So, plans by the evil people, the guys of Phoenicia and Syria, they were trying to get this stopped. Not only did they not get it stopped, but what happened to them is they had to start giving them stuff: rams and cows and bulls and corn and grain and salt, wine, oil, all of this stuff every year without further question. So not only did they get owned for trying to stop this, but they also got owned financially, and they had to basically bring their own tithes to the temple. So that is the hand of our Creator that works miracles and works incredible things. And it is incredible that, we have been given these books, that we are able to see this stuff that is written. We can see the errors of the past, and we can see the progression and the process to move forward. And the process to move forward is always to obey the laws, statutes, and commandments of our Creator. It's always to be those people that are set apart, that are ordained by our Creator, and that we're walking this narrow path. Remember, there's a gate. In Matthew 7, it's very clear that there's a gate. And a lot of people make it through the gate. But past that gate is a wide path to destruction. And most don't make it. We are told this over and over in scriptures that most people don't make it. And it's something we should take heed of. So with that, everybody, I hope you guys have a wonderful day. Until we meet again, Yah Scriptures is still available. You guys can absolutely grab it. The link is in the description below. You can download it. The big blue book is available. And we hope you guys have a wonderful day. Much love.